All right, this time thanking God, as we remembered, I guess, from a couple of chapters ago, thanking Him for our purpose in those times when He restores us to an understanding of what that purpose is. We got at least two more allegories or parables or stories representing a biblical truth in this chapter. The first representing a lioness, as we mentioned, raising a couple of lion cubs to become pretty impressive lions. In verses 1 through roughly 9, we see the story of the lioness and those two cubs. In the first 4 verses, we see one raised to manhood, I guess, or lionhood, or adult, lionhood, I guess we'd call it, only to have its strength turned against it as it is taken into Egyptian captivity. The second, once she sees in verses 5 through 9 that hopes for the restoration of that cub might be lost, she raises another, only to see that lion walk in the same pattern of having its power possibly get it a little too inflated and eventually taken into captivity, this time Babylonian captivity. Captivity that is more familiar to what we've seen in the prophets from Isaiah to Jeremiah on now through Ezekiel. However, those two lions, or the story of those two lions, gives way to the story of a vine in the rest of the chapter, going from verses 10 through 14, where it describes a vine planted by water, fruitful and full of branches. However, the story of the vine is a lot like the story of the two lion cubs. Even though it grows to strength, eventually that which represents its scepter of strength is taken from it, leading to the end of the chapter, which concludes, "This is a lamentation and has become a lamentation," reminding us of the book of Lamentations that recounts all that God's people lost while being dismissive of their purpose. A warning that points forward to the revelation and its description of the fall of Babylon, a great power that rises on the earth only to attract the fear and the love of those who admire their power, but to wield that power so irresponsibly that all those around them eventually turn on them and rejoice at Babylon's fall. Ezekiel 19, quite possibly giving us another picture of that in describing two lion cubs that grow so powerful they eventually begin to terrorize those they might have actually been called, as chapter 17 reminds us, to protect.